The human mind is a phenomenal tool that is perfect when it comes to survival, when it comes to comprehension, to certain levels of understanding the cosmos. However, many people ask themselves, why is it that the mind always asks a lot of questions? And in the end, how can one be sure that one can get progress based on the mind? Because the whole society seems obsessed with just the mind, with just remembering things and making use of logics. See, the mind is not necessarily the one asking the questions. You have to comprehend that. It is the piece of life that you are. Because what you are beyond the flesh, beyond all layers of your existence, you are a piece of life that has a certain amount of energy. And those amounts of energy that it has per day, it wants to invest them into something. That's why you invest, you like something. The more you do something, the better you become at it, because you convince the life force within you to share its energies in that direction. So it is the curiosity of life in your awareness, in your consciousness, that asks the questions, not the mind. Imagine that compared to a machine, not only do you have data space, right? Just like machines have a hard drive, you have a brain, yes, which is capable of, well, memorizing a lot of things, especially if it is well trained. It can memorize a whole lot of things. Remember that your unconscious mind remembers each and everything that happens into your life. The reason why they are not accessible by your mind is because your conscious mind could be easily distorted at a certain level. When you become very aware of your consciousness, of certain layers and dimensions of this cosmos, you can access certain information without necessarily reading it in books. You can simply feel it. You can simply open yourself to it. The mind is just a tool which is best for survival. It is part of the brain. The brain is part of the physical body. The physical body is only concerned with survival. That is the whole point. The mind is very good at putting pieces together to obtain tools to survive. This is how our species has existed and has bested all other species and has managed to survive throughout the centuries, decades, let's say actually millennia, and probably even eons. Because we have been capable, just like many mammals, to make tools, but to also make things far more advanced than that. When you look at things, well, most of those things and how we ended up what we are not easily comprehensible to the mind. If you compare ourselves to all other animal species, we are the only animal species that holds its spine erect, which means a certain connection in between the earth and the cosmos is possible within our physical body. That is why we are far more capable of inducing our emotions into creative aspects. But creation also can include destruction. Because in an ignorant world that we live in, obviously, the best that we can get is survival related aspects. And in our case, well, destruction, manipulation, and the such. Because the worst that at the lowest levels of awareness, one can only think about deception and obviously survival, constant survival, and how to try to outwit the others, how to survive in their own mental prison where technically everyone is their enemy, right? And well, one has to comprehend one thing, finally. The mind is not the one that asks the question. You can call it the inner child, the curiosity of life. You can call it whatever. But the point is, the purpose of the mind is to survive, to help you find the tools that you need to succeed in your endeavors, right? So the point is, the mind is very good at, let's say, success if you orient it in the right way. Now, the point is, it is a part of success and survival, but at the same time, the mind can also end up being used as a tool for distraction by those who don't know how to make use of it. Because people who are miserable, they will easily find the mind as a very powerful tool to distract themselves from everything. They will think at all sorts of questions, all sorts of silly things, and to the untrained mind, there is literally barely any difference in between reality as is and anything that their puny mind, untrained mind, can interpret as reality, as you may well see and notice around you. So the point is, without any experience in a certain field, especially in spirituality, all your questions are simply worthless, because anyone can tell you a story and you will simply believe it. Where there is no experience in something, the mind will always tend towards that, will always ask questions, but seek to find those experiences by yourself. Because once you have accumulated a certain level of experience, the mind's questions will no longer become that easily a distraction, but they will become the fuel that you will need. Because first you need to ask yourself the questions to find possible directions. Then you need to do the action that you need in those directions. Sooner or later you will find the right direction or directions. And once you invest your energies into those directions and once you can focus, that is when you pave your way towards success. And when you work well, when you work smart, when you end up in a situation where even your environment is supportive of you, only then can one say success. Only then can one say they have achieved success, either in a material plane or especially in a spiritual realm, because spirituality is far harder to achieve in this sick society where distractions are literally everywhere, right? So hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You're appreciated. Take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferenc Jan Bohord signing out.